Ave moriturite salutant. That was the saying by Roman gladiators back in the days when, well, it was not so much as a fight or flee situation, but more just fight or die. That is, to survive. But we're not talking about Roman gladiators and Julius Caesar and other emperors of Roman age, but two bands that have just put out their albums. One is from kind of international waters called Serocs, not the Xerox. Well, anyway, original of Mexican origin, I think. This is an international band nowadays, and they play death metal. And the other one is from Norway, playing sort of a, how would I describe it? Well, kind of a black metalish, but then some also. Let's start with Avast. This is their debut album, quite a new band also, and this is called Mother Culture, released by Dark Essence, which is dedicated to releasing Norwegian metal from the extreme side. So one could say that Avast is playing black metal. One could also say they are playing kind of a post metal. One could also drop subgenres such as black gaze and post metal, and well, these could be all very true when describing the music, because in fact that's everything what's going on here. As you can see, no back leaflet to go with. This was just cheap as promo copy, so we have to live with that, but music remains the same. Almost 40 minutes of this kind of a genre hybrid, which in fact sounds way better than one could actually expect. The kind of a weird thing, or kind of a like the threshold issue with some listeners with this album might be that this is actually combining those elements such as fierce Norwegian black metal to these kind of post metal elements in a way that at some points this album is really dark and almost aggressive, you know, in your face kind of stuff. But at the same points, different ways, spats, whatever, it's going to more like even happy kind of music. I'm not talking about extra happy, you know, pop stuff or anything like that sort, but the kind of a feeling or atmosphere when the album is almost joyful and, you know, kind of a giving hope and all that stuff. So there is a strong contrast in which part of the album you're going with. Like I said, the black metal parts on this album are very true to the kind of a typical Nordic black metal, but the post metal kind of a feeling is very strong with this one. So calling it kind of a post black or black gaze is kind of a very accurate in my opinion. Those different styles are not, you know, easy to separate on this album, having the context right there. And also lyric wise, this album is not your typical satanic black metal release. So this is kind of a divider. If you are the type of listener who just hate all kind of post metal, post black and all that stuff that is not your part of your essential satanic black metal experience, then this is definitely not your cup of tea. But on the other hand, if you are the type of open mind who, well, you know, could just as well listen to traditional black metal and then on the other hand listen to post metal and whatnot, like me for instance, then this is something you might be willing to check out. I think this is quite good an album. You know, so production, scream vocals, and those different parts put together, they actually sound way better than I can probably promise you. But like I said, I know this is a little bit of an acquired taste thing, so there's only so much I can promise without misleading you. Now the other album, like I said, this is of international waters, kind of a Mexican origin, but nowadays these guys of this band live in separate countries, so it's hard to kind of pinpoint any particular country and to say where this band is now originating from. Quite a bit of tracks, almost 47 minutes, which is quite a bit for a technical, brutal death metal band. And those of you who are into that kind of music, be it Cryptopsy, Origin, Archspire, or many other names in the genre, well, this is both good and bad news for you. This is not the kind of album that is gonna be the best of the year. Not in my opinion anyway, even though I have a strong bond or connection with kind of a what we call instrumental porn when it comes to, playing instruments really accurately, having technical parts here and there, and also, having strong sound, growling vocals and all that stuff. As you can see, very basic layout, just, thank you lists and whatnot, and lyrics obviously. I wouldn't say boring, but I wouldn't say anything special on this one. So those who are not keen into finding lyrics, this is probably as good as it gets on streaming services. But when it comes to the actual music, now this is very much of an acquired taste of kind of music. You have to be able to say yes instantaneously if I ask you, do you like brutal death metal? And if I also ask you, do you like very technical, almost pornographic instrumental playing with the guitar, drums and whatnot, you have to say yes. Because if you are not technical stuff, if you're not into that at all, I could say this is not your cup of tea. This is not your typical D-side Christian, even Morbid Angel, not to mention more traditional slow-paced death metal bands. This is all about playing with technical sense, having those little bit of details, or okay, the bass went really strange there and all that stuff. And it's actually one of those albums which is not very good at what they do. I mean, I'm not gonna say that this is a boring album. I'm just gonna say this is one of those albums where its technicality is first, and good compositions and great riffs second. And unfortunately so, because as much as I like very technical playing and brutal death metal with black metal and other styles, the thing I find problematic with this particular album is that they're kind of lacking the magic, the kind of a magic that grasps you there, and you're like, oh man, these guys are so skilled with their instruments, and yet they also have these kind of riffs which just take you in, and you're gonna just have a hell of a ride. This is not gonna give me a hell of a ride. I was just basically listening to just guys playing technical ways, and that's all. And also the growling vocals, as good as the vocalists sound is, the strong and stuff, it's very monotone. I mean, it's like one song and you've heard it all. So I'm kind of unhappy to say that this wasn't the type of technical brutal death metal I was hoping for. Basically everything is there except the good songs, which are not. So for me, in my books, so to say, this is a slight disappointment. So should I have to pick a winner in this dual review context out of two different styles, it would be easily Avast. This is not a sore loser, but not very good either. Both are kind of acquired taste albums. So I don't know, if you are not into these kind of genres, don't waste your time with these. But for curious and open-minded, sure, both are worth checking out. Thank you for watching, and as always, should you have any questions, opinions and whatnot, leave them on the comment box below and I'll get back to you. See you soon, bye bye.